During the World Cup qualifying tournament in Wuhan in March of 2026, Zhang Ziyu played 55 minutes across 5 games. She scored 55 points while making 26 of her 38 shots. That's 1 point for every minute on the floor. The number describes Zhang more accurately than the familiar pictures do. Most American viewers first encounter her through a low camera angle, with a defender disappearing behind her shoulder and a caption arguing over whether she's 7'2", 7'3", or 7'5". FIBA lists her at 220 centimeters. The difference amounts to less than the width of a basketball. Her role matters more. China hasn't used Zhang as a conventional franchise center who stays on the floor for 35 minutes and controls every possession. At 18 years old, she has entered games in short shifts, established position near the basket, and forced the defense to solve a problem that may leave before the adjustment is finished. She isn't China's entire system, she's a concentrated dose of it. Against Mali, Zhang played 12 minutes. She scored 12 points on 6 of 8 shooting and finished plus 10. There were no blocked shots, no assists, and only 3 rebounds. Those numbers look modest until the minutes are attached. China didn't need more from her. Yueru produced 21 points and 11 rebounds, while Hanshu added 14 points. All 3 centers stand at least 6'7", allowing coach Gong Luming to change the shape of his front court without surrendering size. Zhang is the extreme end of that rotation. When she enters, an ordinary post entry becomes a high pass that few defenders can touch. A guard doesn't have to thread the ball through 2 reaching arms. She can place it above the crowd. After Zhang catches it there, she often removes a step that other centers need. She doesn't have to lower the ball, gather herself, and jump through contact. Her release point is already near the rim, so she can turn, extend one arm, and finish before the help defender reaches the play. The possession looks easy because her size has erased part of the process. That ease can distort the evaluation. American basketball analysis tends to ask how a prospect will function over a full WNBA workload. Can she defend a guard after a switch? Can she run through repeated transition possessions? Can she survive 5-out spacing? Can she play 30 minutes without opponents turning her body into the target of every action? Those are fair questions, but they aren't the only ones China needs her to answer. A national team can use a specialist differently from a professional club, building around one player for an entire season. China can place Zhang beside guards who understand the entry angle, surround her with experienced centers, and remove her when the matchup shifts away from her strengths. 10 disruptive minutes may be more useful than 25 ordinary ones. The clearest evidence came in the loss to Belgium. Zhang played 19 minutes that night, her highest total of the qualifying tournament. She scored 20 points, collected 11 rebounds, and made 10 of 15 shots. It was her first senior double-double against a team that finished the tournament unbeaten. China still lost by 15. The same game that showed Zhang's scoring power also showed why her development can't be reduced to field goal percentage. She committed 5 turnovers and 3 fouls. She recorded no assists, steals, or blocks. Belgium's movement continued around her, and 20 points near the basket couldn't control what happened across the rest of the floor. FIBA later described Belgium as dismantling China through passing and teamwork. The defeat separated 2 ideas that are often treated as one. Zhang can be an efficient scorer without being an all-purpose answer yet. Her height creates offensive certainty. It doesn't guarantee defensive control. Shot blocking is the easiest place to see the difference. Across 55 minutes in Wuhan, Zhang blocked 1 shot. Hanshu averaged 4 times as many blocks per game while playing a larger role. Zhang's body can discourage an opponent from attempting a layup, an effect that never appears in the box score, but the official record doesn't support the idea that she's already swallowing every possession near the rim. The problem changes when the action moves away from her. A quick guard can use a screen to pull a center toward the foul line. A shooting big can stand outside the lane and force the defense to choose between protecting the basket and conceding space. If Zhang retreats, the ball handler gains room. When she steps higher, the next pass can make her turn and recover. Tall centers have faced that calculation for decades. Zhang's dimensions make both sides of it more pronounced. Her reach forgives positioning errors near the rim, while the distance required to recover an open space becomes harder to hide. Opponents also make her work before she touches the ball. They front the post, bring help from the weak side, and push the pace after missed shots. The object isn't always to prevent the catch. Sometimes it's to make each catch expensive enough that her short shift ends before the damage accumulates. China answers by making the delivery less complicated. The ball can enter from the wing, come from the top, or arrive through another center in a high-low action. Zhang seals her defender, presents a target above the defense, and keeps the ball high. When two defenders arrive early, the space they abandon belongs to somebody else. Her influence begins before the pass. That's the part a highlight reel rarely preserves. The clip shows Zhang finishing over one defender. It may not show a second defender leaving a shooter before the catch, or a guard hesitating in the lane on the next possession because Zhang is standing there. Her size changes decisions even when she never records the result. Another number places her current role in context. At the Under-18 Women's Asia Cup in 2024, Zhang averaged 35 points and 12.8 rebounds. She also averaged 2.8 assists and finished with a tournament efficiency rating of 42.8. Against players near her own age, China could keep feeding her until the opponent ran out of answers. Senior basketball reduced the scale without removing the efficiency. At the Women's Asia Cup in 2025, Zhang averaged 15.6 points while playing 14 minutes per game. She made 67.4% of her shots. Her average against older international players still worked out to more than 1 point per minute. The competition exposed other details. She committed 11 turnovers in 70 minutes and blocked 2 shots across 5 games. In the semifinal against Japan, she played 19 minutes and scored 17 points, but needed 14 attempts and turned the ball over 4 times. Japan beat China and advanced to the final. That loss established a pattern. Zhang could punish a defense in a narrow area while the opponent won the larger game through pace, pressure, and execution away from the basket. China didn't respond by abandoning her. It kept measuring the dosage. Head coach Gang Luming said during the 2025 Asia Cup that Zhang placed heavy pressure on opponents, while acknowledging that parts of her game still needed polishing. He described the road ahead as long. That wasn't a dismissal of her talent. It was a description of an 18-year-old entering senior basketball with a body no development program had handled before. Her professional debut followed on January 4, 2026. Zhang came off the bench for Shandong and recorded 15 points and 6 rebounds in 12 minutes, making 6 of 9 shots in a 106-93 victory. The professional pattern looked familiar immediately. She made a short appearance, produced at a high rate, and didn't need an expanded role before the smaller one was understood. Gang later described the Chinese league as a place where young players such as Zhang could be tested, improve, and collect experience before contributing more to the national team. The sequence was cautious. First came the senior international debut, followed by professional club minutes, and then a place in the World Cup qualifying rotation. By March, Zhang was playing against established senior teams in games tied directly to World Cup qualification. Her 5 performances weren't identical. 12 points in 12 minutes against Mali became 20 points in 19 minutes against Belgium. She produced 11 points in 9 minutes against South Sudan, then 4 points against Czechia. In the final game against Brazil, she scored 8 points in 5 minutes. That last appearance captured the role in its smallest form. Now, Zhang entered, attempted 5 shots, made 3, drew enough contact to take 2 free throws, and collected 3 rebounds. China received 8 points without asking her to stay on the court long enough for Brazil to reshape the game around attacking her. The role resembles bullpen management more than traditional star usage. China can choose the inning. The comparison isn't exact because basketball has no safe separation between offense and defense. Zhang must play both on every trip. Still, the logic holds. Her coach can introduce a rare physical problem at a selected moment, force the opponent to alter its personnel, and move to Han Shu or Li Yueru when a different type of center is needed. Han offers shooting range and more experience moving within the senior system. Li has spent years facing WNBA athletes and provides a more conventional physical presence. Zhang supplies a release point that may be unmatched anywhere in women's basketball. They don't have to become the same player. American fans often place Zhang on a straight line toward the WNBA because that's the league they use to measure women's basketball. The conversation jumps from her height to draft eligibility, then searches for a current WNBA center who can serve as a comparison. China's immediate objective isn't to produce a comparison, it's preparing for the World Cup. The qualifying tournament showed what that preparation currently looks like. Zhang ranked second on China in scoring despite sitting well outside the team leaders in playing time. She finished behind Han in rebounding and blocked shots. Guard Shuyu Yang, not one of the 3 towering centers, made the tournament's All-Star 5. That balance matters. China's size can't operate without guards capable of delivering the ball and surviving defensive pressure. Belgium demonstrated what happens when superior movement disrupts the connection between the two. FIBA placed China 5th in its post-qualifying power rankings. The team secured its World Cup place with 4 wins in 5 games, but the 15-point loss to Belgium kept the front-court hype from becoming a conclusion. China had assembled unusual size. It hadn't proved that size could solve every elite opponent. Zhang's presence doesn't eliminate that uncertainty. It changes the cost of testing it. An opponent can play fast and try to make her defend away from the basket. That plan requires securing rebounds and completing possessions first. A missed rotation can become a pass placed 2 feet above the defender's reach, and one front-court foul can change how aggressively the next post catch is defended. Her free throw shooting adds another complication. Zhang made only 3 of 7 attempts during the qualifiers, a drop from the 16 of 21 she made at the Asia Cup 1 year earlier. Sending her to the line worked in Wuhan, but 5 games aren't enough to establish which percentage defines her. The same caution applies to nearly every judgment about her. 55 minutes can reveal a role without fixing the limits of her career. She turned 19 in May. The professional resume being used to project her future was only months old when China qualified for Berlin. The evidence supports 2 statements that don't cancel each other. Zhang has weaknesses an elite opponent can target. She can also score at a rate that makes targeting those weaknesses urgent from her first possession. Treating her short minutes as evidence that she's unimportant misses the arrangement China has built. Its center rotation allows those minutes to remain short. Zhang doesn't have to conserve herself for the whole game, and the coaching staff doesn't have to leave her exposed after the opponent finds a favorable action. She can enter against a smaller lineup, alter the score, and return to the bench with the matchup changed. For Team USA, that creates a scouting problem, unlike preparing for a conventional starter. The Americans may see Zhang for only part of the game, but their roster and coverage still have to account for her. A defender capable of handling Han on the perimeter may not be the preferred body for holding ground beneath Zhang. A lineup designed to run Zhang through screens may concede size at the other end. Sue Bird noticed the broader issue after the World Cup draw. Speaking in her role with the United States national team, she pointed to China's size and the possibility that the American team wouldn't have Brittany Griner available to match it. The concern wasn't framed around Zhang alone. China had added another layer to a front court that already reached the World Cup final in 2022. That's what American fans miss when every discussion begins and ends with 7'3". Zhang isn't waiting to become a 30-minute WNBA centerpiece before she matters. She's already useful in a smaller, controlled role, one that protects an unfinished player while exploiting a finished physical advantage. China can develop the rest of her game without postponing the pressure she places on opponents now. During the Wuhan qualifiers, that pressure produced 55 points in 55 minutes. On September 4th in Berlin, the World Cup schedule places the United States and China on the same floor at 12:15 local time.